Hey, everybody, I'm Scotty T from Your Comedy Minute, and I have a wonderful young comedian with me. Tim Stone is here. Tim, how are you, buddy?
I'm good, Scotty. It's good to be here, man. It's
It's
really good
great to have you here, man. It's great to have you here.
in the
Let's
presence of.
get right to it. We got a lot to cover, and we don't have a lot of time. Somebody had some problems. You're in New Hampshire.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Were you born and raised in New Hampshire?
I was not actually. I was born in St. Louis, Missouri.
Okay. And
Yeah,
how did you end up in New Hampshire, if you don't mind me asking?
I divorced.
Okay, that'll work. Yeah.
when your
Hey,
when
Tim, I
my
have one
parents
of
got
those.
divorced, my mom wanted to get as far away from my dad as she could. So New Hampshire's pretty
Oh,
far.
okay. I thought you were divorced. I'm divorced. I was married.
Oh no, no, no! I was the product of a divorce, so that's how I.
Okay. All right. When did you start doing comedy, Tim?
I've been doing it pretty heavily for almost 3 years. It'll be 3 years in May.
3 years. Okay. And let me ask you, was there a catalyst? Was there something that said, Tim, go do comedy?
You got to have a strong network, people like supporting you. When I joined the army and started making people laugh from like different countries and people that didn't
Okay.
speak English and things like that, I kind of started to know. But honestly, if you are a comic, you don't. It's not your choice, man. I can't stop telling jokes. I can't
Right.
stop performing. Even when I'm checking out at the grocery store,
Yeah.
I'm doing jokes and stuff. So it's
Well,
I
you're
honestly
gonna
don't
you're gonna
expect.
find, Tim, as we go on, that there's a lot of similarities between us. In other words, I was class clown in school. I had 44 nights detention, and I the same way. I go to the supermarket. They're always like, "Tell a joke, tell a joke." I just crack people up. I love, or at least I try.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Sometimes I'm just cracking myself up. It's just,
Right.
I tell jokes for me too.
You jumped ahead there a little bit. I had stuff. I wrote down a whole batch of stuff because I like to pay respect to my guest. You were in the army. Thank you for your service.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. You don't have to thank, sometimes not everybody in the army is a hero.
Yeah, no, I know, but I like to. I mean, I feel everyone that I meet. I have family that went. I lost my brother. My dad's brother was killed in the war, and I just have a lot of respect for that.
Yeah, no, I'm third generation. My
Well,
dad,
yeah, and let me interject because I wanted to touch on that, and I don't think it's a bit. Well, I mean, it's a bit, but it's also, I think, true. Your mom is an English teacher or was an English teacher, and your dad was a drill sergeant.
yep. So I'm a well-spoken dickhead. That's basically
Yeah,
that's
but
where I got my
yeah,
training.
what I get about that, Tim, is what was it like growing up with a drill sergeant? My dad was a prick.
Yeah, no, a
Okay.
lot of people say that. Like, I'll be like, my dad was a drill sergeant. They'll say mine too. And I'll be like, no, my dad wore camouflage and punched you when you did the wrong thing.
Did he?
He was a
Did
big,
he?
intimidating man. It was just like you think. You would sleep in, he would drag the water hose in and spray you in your bed and wake you up. Like, he was an animal for a period of time.
No shit.
Yeah,
Well, I,
yeah,
I guess I guess the follow-up question is he calmed down now?
yeah. As soon as he stopped being a drill sergeant, it was like as soon as but that's a big reason why I joined. I wanted to see why he was being such a dick. And I learned pretty quickly. But as soon as he stopped being a drill sergeant, like you have to be like an alpha. You have to be better, faster, stronger all the time. And that's the
Okay.
mode he was in, and that didn't stop when he came home. So as soon as that he was out of that mode, he was much easier to deal with.
Okay. A lot of your comedy, again, and we'll get into because I will get into the full disclosure here about you and I, but your comedy is based on your life, growing up there, and also observations. Would you say it's
Yes.
pretty accurate?
Yeah, yeah. A lot of it comes from my fears or like dark spots in life too. I like to
Right.
make fun of bad things. What's wrong with making it fun? You
Right.
know?
Well, no, and like for instance, and I wrote down a couple here, just observations that you have. Women love drag shows.
That's quite the observation, right?
No, no, because see, Tim, I said to you, believe it or not, when I worked at Lowe's, there were a couple guys there that were in the drag shows, and they'd always say, "Scotty, You got to. Nah, I'm good. I'm good with the old drag show. I'm good.
I'm
I'm
not
good with
against
it.
it. No, man, women do love that. And they love
No,
making
you're
you.
right.
Oh, yeah, they
No,
do. Yeah,
you're right. In other words, I agree with you.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
want
I
to do
love
the whole? Do you want to tell them? You know what? Because I
it.
love the punchline.
The women do love drag shows because they call the men that dress like women, they call them queens, and they call the women that dress like men Ellen. Shit, you know.
Another another bit that you do, and again, I know this is true, is about your daughter being autistic.
Yes, yeah.
And there's one great thing about that. Do you want to tell people what that one great thing is about your daughter being autistic?
She's a free fast pass at Disney. Besides other things, I catch a lot of people come up to me after shows and they're like, my child's is that true? And I'm 100%. Every theme park, like you present your mouth breather right up front, they'll let you right on. It's
I had a buddy. Again, we're gonna. There's a lot of stuff. I had a buddy of mine that was in a wheelchair,
yes,
and it was the same thing. But he was okay that he could walk a little bit, so he could get on the rides.
yeah.
Oh my God, that was fantastic.
Yeah, no, it really is. I try to find the positives out of those situations. I really enjoy making people laugh at stuff they don't want to laugh at.
No, I
That's
know, I do
that's the
too.
perfect joke to make somebody, because we're just gestures. We're trying to make people laugh to bring things to light and make them laugh.
Um, Comedians that inspired you when you were younger, and then follow up comedians that you like now.
Oh man. Honestly, ironically enough, my dad and I rented a Gallagher tape. That,
Gallagher, the guy used
that
to
was the
smash
first.
stuff up.
Yeah, but that was the first time I ever saw like, whoa, you can stand on a stage and just jokes and people pay you for this. And I remember us being so enthusiastic about it. We went back to the video store and we rented Bill Cosby as well right after that.
Okay.
Um, and a lot of those people, and then like I grew up in that Comedy Central era, so like the Mitch Hedbergs, the Patrice O'Neills, the Bill Burrs. I'm still into those guys. Obviously, I jumped ahead, but Doug Stanhope is a big influence for
Yeah,
me.
I was going to touch on that because you have one, I think Instagram, you have a picture of a Doug Stanhope book that's autographed.
Yes, I've actually met him a couple times. I followed him around when he did a small show tour up here, and just went to a bunch of shows and actually learned how comedy works, how you develop jokes, how they don't come the first couple times. You have to fumble with a joke and say it wrong, maybe to even make it funny. And I saw him develop and work and build a special from nothing to the end. And I learned so much from it.
I absolutely love Doug Stanhope, and I am shocked. I was shocked when it happened. At least I think he still is. He follows me on X.
Yeah, I believe it. He's a comedian's comedian. Yeah, he
Yeah,
likes
he's a
a couple
great
of
guy. He's a great guy. And we've actually had a few, where I was asking him to do a Super Bowl prediction, and he said, I don't, but I'm praying I can somehow get him on the show. I would love to have him on the show.
I met him behind the Rockabilly Pub. It's this real dive bar comic place in Worcester. And I waited for him in an alley and we ran into him. And I had his attention for like 2 minutes. And then some prostitutes came out and I lost him. He was gone.
He's a tough. I don't know if you ever saw it. My favorite Doug stand-up bit is the guy that wanted to do haiku. Did you ever see
Yeah.
that?
Oh, yeah. Yes. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that. I absolutely
Oh,
love that.
his farewell mother bit. I mean, that's great. About how he assisted his mother's suicide is
Yeah,
you
no, I just love
forget
him.
he's telling a joke. It's just great. But yeah, no, you're 100% right. I've actually gotten some kickback from some family members about some jokes I've said.
Sure,
You're exploring a lot of things. I'm dealing with a lot of stuff. It's fun. I'm learning every day, and it's just a great
sure.
place. I love pushing those boundaries. When you push those boundaries, you're gonna get kicked back. And why does it take grandma so long to go to the bathroom?
I don't know.
Have you ever tried to pull apart a cold grilled cheese sandwich?
Yeah, okay. You're a big fan of camel toes?
I am a big fan of camel toes. It's a sign you're a giver. A crowd pleaser, if you will,
Yeah. I just again, you don't realize how much you and I have in common.
And we both love camel
I'm a
toes.
big fan of camel toes.
Dude, I don't understand why they try to hide it. That's one of the things.
did a bit about how much money would it take for a man to, little beef stick up
Fuck you in
because
the
he,
ass, man. You can
yeah, yeah,
say it.
okay, all right, go ahead.
We've all
How much,
played that
how much
game
money would it take
as a straight
for,
man.
for, for someone to give to me to let a man fuck me in the ass?
Yeah. How much
Okay.
would it take?
Well, no, go ahead. I mean, I want you to elaborate, and then I'll tell you my thoughts on it, Tim.
Well, honestly, it was Diddy that brought light to this. You know, Puff
Yeah,
Daddy.
yeah. I actually met Diddy.
You've met Diddy?
I met
Oh,
Diddy.
so you've
I
already
always
signed
tell
one of these
Tim,
contracts? You've been in
I
those parties,
Tim, I
buddy? Was
always
that?
say this. You don't know this. I was in the music business. I had dinner with R. Kelly, and he didn't piss on me. I had dinner
Oh,
with Will Smith, and he didn't smack me. And I met Diddy, and he didn't try to.
well, Jesus. I guess as Dave Chappelle says, that means you're ugly, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think. Yeah, I just
That was the
wasn't.
best take on
I,
that.
I wasn't his type. But
Yeah.
anyway, so now you do this bit, and I don't think you ever disclosed. Well, no, I think you did. Go ahead, tell people how you came. What?
Essentially, what it came to is Diddy was giving these lucrative careers, all by taking your manhood, you know, and fucking you in the ass, if you will. And he was giving these guys like up to 150, $300 million, lucrative careers. And then I thought about my army career and basically how I got fucked in the ass for a $3,000 sign-on bonus. And I figured out I'm a pretty cheap date, is basically what that boils down to. I probably should have read the fine print, you know.
I Tim, I
It's
don't
a
know.
fun joke. It's a backslap joke, you
Well,
know.
I since I brought it up, and I will tell you that the person that would want to do it with Scotty T, they better be into a corpse. They better be into necrophilia because there is no amount of money. There is no amount. I don't care how many stacks of bills you put up there.
Yeah.
It ain't happening.
I wish I could say the same thing, man. I served my
Shipping,
country.
shipping, no receiving. I only have shipping. There's no
Yeah.
receiving.
How's that? Well, I can infinitively say I don't like it. You know, they're like, "How do you know?" I'm like, "Oh, you know, the big green weenie
Oh
got me.
my
The big
God,
green
we've run
weenie
this
got me."
thing. How long have we been on the air? We've run this son of a bitch right into the dirt.
Yeah,
Holy hell. You're talking about enjoying
yeah. That's
and
you
and
say I can say anything. You
you're
can't
talking
say.
to a guy that just told you I wouldn't let anybody stick anything in my tuchus.
You know what? That's a good philosophy to have. Right? I hope my
Well,
son
I love the people that
policy.
go to the hospital and stuff that have shit in their ass, not shit, but a candelabra or something, different things stuck a bowling pin in their ass.
That's aggressive.
Have
That's
you
aggressive.
seen have you
Have you
seen
ever
some
been
of
to
these things?
Montreal, or what are you talking about here?
Have you seen these things? I mean,
Yeah,
you go to the New York Post, just and look up, and you'll see. I've done numerous stories about people that have stuff in their ass.
I don't know. You're friends with a lot of comics. I'm sure you've heard better stories too. Like some of these comics we hang with are pretty weird too.
Well,
They
no, I'm talking about just in the news. But my friend says it best: nothing goes in your ass without you knowing about it.
No, you're 100% right about that. You're 100%. I think that's the point of it. You know what
Listen,
I
the minute I go in with some toilet paper, I'm a little nervous. I get a little queasy. All right, let's move on. Favorite show in 3 years you've done, and then, of course, the least favorite show you've done in 3 years.
Oh, my favorite show I've done. I've done so many good ones. I really have.
You can do I tell you what, Tim, I like you. I'll let you do a couple, but I want the least
good.
favorite. I want one where shit went south.
Oh, you know I got those. I really got to give a shout out to my good friend Maverick Prasad. He's a big promoter down here.
Okay.
He hosts a really great open mic down in Springfield, Massachusetts. It's called
Okay.
Workout Wednesday. They got one of the best DJs, DJ Nice Jones, down there.
Okay.
Um, it's just a really fun environment. I've become like it's like home. It's where I stretch my legs. I always love performing there. It's a lion's pit. Like there's hecklers on top of you. You're right in the middle of Massachusetts. It's just where I became me, you know. I did a really fun show at a barber shop the other day. That
I
was really
saw
cool.
that. I saw that. Yeah.
I was there with a couple really great comics. It was a snowy day, so we got like 10 inches of snow, and there were still 60, 70 people there. So that was a really cool show. My boy Alex Martinez put me on a show with Detroit Reed back in the day, and Detroit used to open. It opens for Desi Banks, so I got to spend some time with him, and we did a really good show, and that was a lot of fun.
Okay.
I had a lot of fun out there with those shows. Those were, and then my shows in Swansea are a ton of fun. I'll rent out like local churches and halls, and just have a
Okay.
BYOB and bring up comics, and people really
Okay.
turn out for my community.
So
Um,
you're not only doing comedy, but you're also putting on some shows.
yeah, I like to. I badge it under a different name so I don't get people pestering me. I don't want them to think like that because I like to pick people I just want to see in a show. I'm not doing politics. I bring people up that I think my area would really like. And I'm selling about 100 tickets per show, honestly, when I do them. So
That's
they're
wonderful, Tim.
they're just a
That's
lot of
wonderful.
fun. They're just a lot of fun, and they're getting better every time, obviously too.
Well, and
So
and there's something to be said for just trying to bring joy to people's lives.
yeah, yeah, especially in this day and age, we still need to
Oh my
laugh.
God,
We
yes.
need to laugh at everything. There's nothing sacred, even grandma's vagina. Remember, like nothing sacred.
Tell my brother that.
All bad,
Tell,
you know.
tell my brother that.
I will give me his number.
My brother actually told me this was. He said he threw something at the at his television. He threw something when I did it.
Yeah, I had a recent joke with my father that he asked me to take down. It's a really good joke too.
Go ahead.
I don't.
Go ahead. Come on, Dad
uh,
won't watch this.
there's a
No, I
there was
mean
a
if he does, just tell him. Say Scott made me do it. Say Scott forced me to do it.
well, basically, there was a man in Italy that went on a 180-mile walk after he got into a fight with his wife. I don't know if you heard about that.
No.
My dad used to do that same thing, but we used to just call it an affair, you know?
I can see why Dad doesn't like that one.
Yeah.
I
So,
can see why. I bet your mom's not a big fan of it either.
mom actually finds that one a little therapeutic.
God, Tim, you're crazy.
Yeah, yeah, I
You
walk
are
the line.
crazy.
Thanks for
Well, let
having
me
me.
ask you because I'm curious. Do you plan on doing comedy now for the rest of your life?
As long as I can. I really can.
Okay.
I don't see. I think the stupidest thing for me would be to stop.
Right.
Honestly, that would
Right.
be the only thing that would look. I just really enjoy it. It's. I mean, you ask it like it's a choice. It's not gonna stop. A lot of people don't realize it's a grind. They see those videos. I'm editing them, man. Like I'm performing in bowling alleys and dive bars, sometimes in front of two, three people. I'm driving 2 hours one way just to do 5 minutes sometimes. It's a passion. It's tough, and I can't tell you there haven't been times where I haven't questioned it, but
Yeah.
something drives me that I can't explain. And just to make, if I do that show and I have that one lady come up to me afterwards, and it's just like, you were so amazing, you made me laugh, like that keeps me going for another 6 months.
Right.
I can feed off of that. I get this
Somehow,
comic high, like it's crazy.
no, and you're preaching the converted. I got fired for telling jokes 5 years ago
I've been
at my
fired from
job,
every
and
job
that's
I've
how
ever
your
done.
comedy minutes started 5 years ago. And
Yeah.
I'm still plugging away. I've transitioned. I've pivoted a lot. Initially thought I would just get on and everybody would love me. I realized
Oh
that
no,
didn't work.
it's a grind, my friend. It's a grind. You got to find your place, your voice. It's
Yeah,
social media and comedy are two different things, and they're both the same. It's weird.
yeah.
Uh,
I don't know how I let you get away without doing it, but you talked about your favorite shows, but you never told me your least favorite show.
I mean, anything in Connecticut. I could
Really?
fuck Connecticut. They don't like me there. They're. It's really clicky. They always cut me off. I always have a miserable time in Connecticut. And I go there, like I just do. And I've heard other comics talk about it. There's a joke that says Connecticut's just a highway between Massachusetts and New York. I believe it. Like it's a dump, and I hate it. And I'll always have a miserable experience there. Uh,
You
I've
know,
had some I've had some problems in Northampton and a couple liberal areas. Like sometimes my jokes are a little bit on the dark side, and if I go too hard, I just come across as an asshole, and they can turn my comedy into a bad, people can turn it, and then you don't back down. You just keep pushing, and it just turns into a fire.
Elaborate. Go ahead,
Oh,
elaborate.
I have to elaborate.
Well, just you don't have to, but yeah, I love to hear a good train wreck. I'm one of those guys that I love a good train wreck.
you know,
In other
I,
words, all
it's
right, let me
funny. All
just do
right,
this. Let me
I
do
was
this.
at a
Let me do
show in
this,
North.
Tim.
I was at a show in Northampton, Massachusetts.
Okay.
This was in the beginning of my comedy career. I was probably 6 months into it. It was a Friday before Christmas, 3 years ago. And I thought I had it. I was telling stories. Like a lot of mistakes that we make in the front is we tell long stories with no punchlines. We think so. I was up there telling a story, and I was like 3 minutes into it, and I realized nobody was laughing. And then I looked out in the crowd, and there was a young lady in the audience that went, "Come on, you can do it. You got it." And I put the mic back and I ran home. That was like that was a train wreck for me. I didn't. It was I had to retool everything. I really
That's
did. I
funny.
there's
But
no coming back from that. There's no coming back from that.
she's praying for you. You
Come on.
mentioned Connecticut, and you talk about bad shows. Um, my friend Corey Albert, who's from Connecticut, and he feels the same way. He wants to get out of there. There's nothing but cows, and he just your sentiments on Connecticut.
Yes.
And he said one of his worst shows, the lady was actually shooting a finger at him, running up to him and shooting a finger at him. He does
Yeah.
dark humor like you, and she got pissed off. And I just, I can imagine.
You'll get that there. The problem is that I don't get is other people do it and they accept it. They just don't accept it when I come down there and do it. And then I start calling them out on that. And then honestly, Scott, like last time I was down there, I put the mic back and I flipped everybody off and I left. That's how I left.
No, I get it. I get
I
it.
have it on video. I've never posted it. I
No,
probably
I don't think that you don't need to do that.
I'm not gonna say names, but these
No,
places
no, I get it. I get it. Well,
But
my
there's a lot
friend,
of great Connecticut comics too. I don't want to insult. I know a lot of great guys down there. I met a lot
right.
of good friends down there. There's a lot of really funny people down there.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
no, I just met Corey because Corey went on. He went on Kill Tony, and he's
okay.
actually thinking about going to Austin. I think he's planning thinking about. Corey's been on twice. Corey,
If he's still in the area, Springfield's not far. He should come up to Springfield to work out Wednesdays in a couple of those mics. They're really good.
yeah.
Um,
Well,
I could get.
I'll mention it to him if he stays in the area. But look,
Mhm.
we don't have a lot of time left, and I want to make sure we cover everything. I do want to, because full disclosure, I believe in full disclosure. You and I actually recorded one of these about 9 months ago.
I Ricky Bobby dead. I didn't know what to do with my
No,
hands.
no, no. It wasn't that. It wasn't that. You had a camera and a laptop. It looked like you had a can and a string going on.
Yeah,
And I just want to tell you how much I respect because you gave me the time and everything, and I record them. It's a process. They go to a hard drive, and then I upload it to YouTube, and I sent it to you. And I was praying. I was praying that you would say, "Don't put that up, Scotty." And I thank God that you said, "Don't put that up, Scotty,"
I learned
because
so much from that.
this one is so much better.
I learned so
Picture,
much from that.
sound, everything.
I
And we only
appreciate
have one last thing we got to do, and you know what time it is, don't you?
that.
Well,
Yeah.
no, before we do that, I want to make sure. Do you have anything coming up? I mean, as I said, I'll put all the links to your YouTube and all the links to your social media. Do you have any shows or anything you want to tell people about before we
Yeah, I
do?
mean, I got some shows coming up down in Springfield, Massachusetts. I'm gonna be back in that area a lot. I work a
Okay.
seasonal job, so I've been out for the last month, but I'm gonna be back down there, and I got a show up in Londonderry, New Hampshire. I'll be out in that area. I'm starting to expand up into
Okay.
there.
Cool.
I'm also gonna be on the Move the Mic podcast. It's a pretty big podcast out of Western Massachusetts. They interview
Okay.
all the comics from this area. They have a really good thing going.
Good.
They just
Good.
got sponsored by YouTube. I'm looking forward to doing that on Sunday.
Okay.
Those guys are really cool.
Cool.
So yeah, I'm starting to get noticed by the likes of yourselves and some of these
They're
other
not
people.
as cool as me. Fuck them.
No, Scott, no, they're trying to catch up. They're trying to catch up.
I'm kidding you. Well, let's do it, Tim. I'll do a formal introduction. And remember last time you were all wound up about it. So this time I just want you to have fun. Tim Stone, your comedy minute. Go ahead, my friend.
Man, you know what? I believe in impersonation would be the most sincerest form of flattery here. So I'm gonna do my best, Scotty, here for you. So here's
No,
your comedy minute. Here's your comedy minute with Timmy S. What's the difference between a peeping Tom and a pickpocket? A pickpocket likes to snatch watches.
Tim, Tim, that's
Hey, check me out at Tim Stone Comedy. I'm on YouTube. I really appreciate anybody that listened and watched. I really appreciate you, Scotty, for sticking with me. I look up to you. I follow you, and
stop it,
forward to
stop
like
it.
many more conversations like this.
I love you, man. I think you're great.